Hi class. Today we're going to be talking about different types of dietary supplements that are commonly used. We'll be looking at the proposed benefits of these supplements, or essentially why people seek them out and take them. And we'll also be talking about possible adverse effects, as well as some potential whole food options that might provide the same benefits at much lower cost and much lower risk to our health. So the first category we're going to touch on are protein powders. Protein powders are a quick and convenient way to get protein into our system. We'll talk here in just a second about how there might be a misconception in regards to how much protein an individual needs, but it is a quick and convenient way. Looking at protein powders in general, there's really not a lot of adverse effects associated with them, but, breaking it down, are they necessary and are they cost effective is kind of what we're going to be looking at. Whey protein is the first one we're going to look at. Whey protein is very popular with an athletic population who wants to build and sustain muscle mass. Whey protein is derived from dairy. It is separated and isolated from its counterpart, casein, which we'll touch on here in a second. Whey protein is very quickly digested and rapidly absorbed into the body. So, someone who has just finished a workout, specifically maybe an intense strength training workout, and they want to, start that muscle synthesis and tissue regrowth, ingesting whey protein is beneficial because it gets those amino acids directly to that muscle tissue so it can kickstart that process. Whey protein also has the highest amounts of the branched chain amino acid leucine, which is a key element of or a key player in the muscle tissue synthesis. I feel like whey protein often gets the spotlight and casein kind of gets thrown or discarded. As I mentioned, casein is also found in dairy. In contrast to whey's digestion and absorption, casein protein is digested and absorbed pretty slowly. So it is released into the muscle tissue at a much slower rate over an extended period of time. So whereas that might not be ideal post-workout when we want to get that muscle tissue growing, it can be beneficial at other times. So think pre-workout, an hour or two before your workout, ingest some casein, or even overnight. So thinking having some casein before we go to bed, and then we're in this extended fasting period while we're sleeping, our muscle tissue is breaking down. Having that casein at those two times could maybe help slow that breakdown and preserve some of that tissue. The next one we've got here are soy protein isolates. So for individuals who are looking to decrease animal product intake or are vegan, vegetarian, this could be an option for them. Soy is low in fat and cholesterol. It's also a complete plant-based protein, which is definitely an appealing thing. It's got all of those essential amino acids. Some of the concerns with soy products in general, but specifically the soy protein isolate, there are concerns over the phytates that are found in soy, that those phytates could interact or affect the absorption of some minerals in our bodies, could kind of block that. And then, there is some research to suggest that excess intake of soy can have an effect on our hormones that could lead to some types of cancers. And then we have other plant-based proteins. As we know, most of our plant-based protein sources are incomplete. So these are usually proprietary blends. So it's a combination of different types of plant-based sources to get that complementary protein source. A few concerns that we want to look at, or a few concerns we may have with ingestion of a protein powder. The proprietary blends is something you want to be a little bit cautionary of. Proprietary blends may contain other undesirable substances. It's a very vague and kind of loose label to put on a product. As we know, we want to be looking for that third-party verification stamp on that seal. That can give us maybe a little bit of assurance that the product is clean, but we never fully know unless it's been tested what that proprietary blend looks like. I talked a little bit about, there's some misconceptions in regards to how much protein an individual takes. I think sometimes it's believed that ingesting protein just builds my muscle. Like the protein gets stored as muscle tissue, which is, as we know, is definitely not the fact. I've seen from my experience working with the military, I've seen, people after a workout go and get a shake from Shake Smart, which is just right outside the gym, and, add all the extras so that their protein shake is 60 to 80 grams worth of protein. The average individual can only absorb and utilize about 25 to 35 grams of protein every hour. So downing that full 60 to 80 grams, you got to think half of that you're throwing your money away with. So we want to make sure that we're getting that ingestion of protein post-workout. That's important and that's true. But looking at perhaps more affordable ways and more reasonable ways, a glass of chocolate milk is gonna maybe do the trick for you instead and help to save you on some money. And I kind of threw this link in here, kind of breaking up the flow of the presentation here, but I kind of wanted to show you where I got some of this information and where you can send the clients that you're working with to get this type of information. So should be kind of familiar with this home screen here of Operation Supplement Safety. Where I found a lot of information for, especially on the protein powders, was right here on this quick facts with the light bulb here. So it has just short bullet point information. So if you've got someone who's like, I want to know more about apple cider vinegar, I want to know more about coconut oil, they can click on that item and learn more about it. So coming down here to protein powders, you can see it's just quick, are acceptable when high quality foods are unavailable and not practical. Could have protein from hemp, so as we know, military members fall under the DoD guidelines, and those hemp products are prohibited. So be cautious with that, especially if you're getting a proprietary blend that could include hemp, and we don't want you to pop on that urinalysis. And then it might contain other types of ingredients you don't necessarily want or need. Again, going back to the proprietary blend. Some, not all of the links here have outside links that will take you to more information on things. Here we learn a little bit more about whey protein. So again, a great resource for you, but also for the clients that you're working with. You can send them here and they can really learn a lot about what they are potentially going to be putting into their body. The second category we're going to look at are weight loss supplements. Weight loss supplements, it's in the title about why people take them, right? If they're looking to lose weight, maybe you've hit a plateau, or with the population we work with, service members, they have weight standards. And, I've seen a lot of individuals sitting in the sauna in a hoodie trying to sweat out those pounds because they have a weigh-in coming in. There's a lot of pressure and demand, not only from the regulations, but also just the perception of a military member being in elite fitness status. So, having that pressure of I'm supposed to look a certain way is a real thing in the military. So weight loss supplements are definitely something that some individuals seek out to kind of kickstart that weight loss or to keep the pounds off if they struggle with it. Weight loss supplements might be marketed as thermogenics, fat burners, or an appetite suppressant. Long-term efficacy. Oftentimes, that weight loss supplement is taken kind of as a boost in a weight loss program, but there are times where, we're maybe not making some of the lifestyle changes as far as eating better, balancing our caloric intake and outtake, increasing physical activity, and we're relying on the outside supplement to do the work for us. If that's the case, the long-term efficacy of that weight loss is very low, right? Because yes, maybe I lost the weight while I am on the supplement, but if I've not changed any of my habits or my behaviors, that weight's gonna come back. A lot of weight loss supplements have stimulant ingredients. We'll be talking about stimulants kind of as performance enhancers here in a couple of slides, but those stimulant ingredients can have adverse effects when they are taken in high quantities or in combination with other types of stimulants or supplements. And then finally, there's no miracle pills, right? There's no pill that's going to do all of the work for you. So thinking that there is a misconception. I've listed some weight loss supplements here that you may or may not be familiar with. The first one, capsaicin. This is the substance that gives chili peppers their spiciness. So obviously we have a whole food counterpart to the supplement. We can eat spicy foods. They have the capsaicin. We don't need to get it from a pill. It's thought to increase energy use, burn fat, and to decrease appetite. Excess may cause gastrointestinal issues. That's kind of the only potential adverse effect. If you've had a big meal of super spicy food, you've maybe experienced that yourself. Conjugated linolenic acid, or CLA. These are the fatty acids that are found in beef and dairy products. So again, off the bat, we have a whole food counterpart that we can get this from. Don't necessarily need to get it in a supplement form. It's thought to increase lean muscle mass and decrease body fat. Similarly, not a lot of adverse effects when taken in a reasonable amount, but excess could cause gastrointestinal issues. Garcinia cambogia is actually a tree that is native to Southeast Asia and Africa, and the substance that they put into the supplement is extracted from the fruit of this tree. This is thought to suppress appetite and inhibit body fat production. Excess may affect liver function, specifically with multi-ingredient supplements. So that liver's got to process all of these types of things out of our bodies, and when we are overloading it with multiple ingredient supplements, that can be affected. Green coffee bean is the raw unroasted beans from a coffee tree or coffee plant containing caffeine and chlorogenic acid. So similarly, you could get the same types of effects from drinking a cup of coffee. It's just very concentrated and at much higher amounts in the raw unroasted type of beans. It is thought to increase energy use and burn fat. Again, overall, when consumed in moderation, in logical amounts, that caffeine and chlorogenic acid, not a lot of adverse effects. But when we look at the stimulants in a little bit here, we can see how taking too much can be dangerous. And then we finally have the raspberry ketone. This occurs naturally in our red raspberries. It's where we get the smell and the taste of raspberries. However, the amount in a raspberry, if they would extract that, it's just so small that they produce it synthetically for supplement manufacturing. This is thought to improve fat metabolism. But with all of these, the actual efficacy of long-term weight loss is very, very low. So, if you notice, it's thought to do these things. It's thought to do these things. So it's not like a true tried stamp, this is going to make you lose weight, okay? We need to implement behavioral change and increase physical activity and consume whole foods in moderation in order to make changes to our body. It's not a one and done pill. So moving into our performance enhancing supplements. The first one we have is caffeine/energy drinks. If you've worked with a military population at all, you know that their consumption of energy drinks is extremely high, extremely high. So research does show that a moderate amount of caffeine can enhance arousal and endurance, and it can decrease the level of effort felt during exercise. So the workout doesn't feel as taxing on the body, even though we're working at higher levels of intensity. So that moderate amount of caffeine is quantified at about 60 to 100 milligrams of caffeine. Your average energy drink can range from about 114 to 300 milligrams of caffeine per container. So that is definitely a lot. The amount of caffeine in an energy drink is not regulated. So there's no one saying that you have to cap it at a certain amount. There's often additional stimulant type ingredients. You see it listed as taurine, the B vitamins, herbal extracts. These are not recommended prior to exercise, but similar to a lot of like pre-workout type supplements, they are often consumed intentionally before exercise to get the benefits of enhanced caloric burn, of enhanced arousal, endurance, and the decreased level of effort felt. So definitely something that is to be cautioned. And then our bodybuilding products, all right? Bodybuilding products could be marketed as testosterone boosters, hormone products, or alternatives to anabolic steroids, which we all know are definitely banned substances. These are the most highly tainted products. So these have, when tested by those third parties, they find the most counter product in these types of supplements. So even though the label maybe lists it as, XYZ ingredients, and those are okay on my list, the odds are higher in the bodybuilding product that there's something else going on inside the packaging. There are obviously adverse reactions with steroids, including liver and kidney damage, heart attack, stroke. You can see them all here on the slide, so something we want to be very, very, very cautionary about. And if you visit the OPSS website, they definitely have a lot of information in regards to why these things should not be taken, especially with the population that we work with. Creatine, similar to a bodybuilding product in regards to, high power and building up muscle. So as we know, creatine is essential for our phosphagen system, that 1 to 3 seconds of max intensity energy when we are doing high intensity activities. So think starting your sprint, like coming in out of the blocks, doing a box jump, doing a high weight snatch, bringing that barbell overhead. We need this short bout of max intense energy. And the creatine is a key player in that. 95% of creatine is stored in the skeletal muscle tissue because that's where we use it. That's where we draw upon. So our body naturally synthesizes creatine through the amino acids arginine, glycine, and methionine. And we can also ingest it in our diet, all right? Creatine supplements are often thought to, if I boost up my creatine, then maybe I can increase my overall power and increase my ability to work in that phosphagen system. Speed up that resynthesis so I can go just as hard again faster. We have many dietary sources of, or dietary food sources of creatine, fish, animal products, where you can, eat a little bit more of these types of things, and maybe you're going to increase your creatine. Creatine supplementation may be beneficial in force production when it's at appropriate limits. However, you still only have a limited capacity of storage in your muscle tissue. So it's not as though the more creatine, the more I'm getting in. At some point, it's going to cap. And again, that excess creatine is going to get processed through your body and excreted in that urine. I think this might be our last performance supplement here, but the human growth hormone, all right? Human growth hormone is obviously very important in growing up that muscle tissue and building strength, power, improving that body composition. We, have the highest excretions of that human growth hormone in periods of growth when we need it. So think adolescence. That is when we see, an uptick in that human growth hormone, which then downticks as we age into adulthood and kind of stop growing in a growth type of manner. A human growth hormone release of the human growth hormone will mobilize and utilize fatty acids and facilitate protein synthesis. It is still secreted in pulses at night when we are adults, just smaller. It is also secreted at higher levels after high intensity, high volume, and low rest training. So things our population is doing, they are naturally increasing their human growth hormone secretion. It's also secreted at even higher amounts when food is consumed directly after training. And that's what our little graph here is showing us. So when we're appropriately fueling ourselves after a workout, we are enhancing our ability to excrete or secrete human growth hormone. And kind of wrapping up here, again, I kind of pointed out a few natural food sources in which we could get some of these benefits, but specifically when we're looking at micronutrients, you might have an individual who takes their Flintstone gummy and thinks that is going to make up for a very lacking diet. We want to remember that, as this first paragraph says, nature's synergy of nutritional density cannot be replicated by a pill or a supplement. When we isolate these phytochemicals, we can impair the body's ability to absorb other phytochemicals, so we're lowering our overall health quotient. When your body consumes a vitamin or a mineral from a food source, it is much more bioavailable, how we say it. It is much more able to be absorbed and utilized by the body than when we have it in a synthetic form. So again, educating our participants on this and letting them know that, look where your money is going, right? Military salaries aren't always, top of the line. So look at where your money's going. If you can get the same benefits from purchasing whole foods plus many other benefits versus, spending a lot of money on supplements every month, financially, it's a better decision. And physically, it's a better decision as well.